You're with the team. Suggs set franchise records for sacks and forced fumbles and might have played a part in why Justin Tucker is so mentally tough when he's out there kicking the ball.
I think his whole thing was to make it tough on kickers at practice. I think Tucker could tell you that. He said some pretty funny things, but just he was a guy that I think just enjoyed the game. You know, he enjoyed every part of the game, the physical part of the game, the relationship part of the game, like being the villain, like he would talk about, part of the game. I think he loved being a Raven. So, yeah, it's a great honor. Congratulations. It was an honor to coach him, to be a part of his career.
Yeah, imagine being a kicker when Suggs is sitting there screaming at you, no thanks. Those Friday night lights will be shining bright. High school football action coming your way. Coming up on the late edition of Sports Unlimited.
We are dealing with our latest weather maker, and that's going to bring cooler temperatures for the weekend. Tomorrow, we're not looking at a washout, but there is the chance for a few spotty showers as temperatures reach the low to mid 60s. And then on Sunday, we could start with a few morning showers, but it looks great for the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s and low 60s with breezy conditions, but we'll have warmer temperatures for the upcoming week. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at the timing of the rain and what to expect into next week in my Weather Authority forecast in about 20 minutes. Back to you.
All right, Jasmine, thanks. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 6, 3 teens shot this afternoon in South Baltimore, what BPD is revealing. And a Baltimore firefighter dies in action. The new details tonight on a sacrifice, and another first responder still fighting for his life. Breaking news, 3 teens shot this afternoon in South Baltimore. Their injuries and the search for the shooter. Also breaking, Fox 45 News has learned the identity of the Baltimore firefighter killed on the job yesterday. An update on the injuries of 4 others as well. And 2 American hostages are now free after being held by Hamas for 2 weeks. The breaking details coming in.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
We start with breaking news out of South Baltimore, where 3 teenagers have been shot. The crime scene is in the Brooklyn neighborhood, just blocks away from Garrett Park. Baltimore police say they believe the teens were shot inside a home. The victims include a 16-year-old girl and two 18-year-old boys. Police say one of the boys ran to seek help after the shooting. Investigators add the teens are not cooperating with them. If you have any information, contact Baltimore police. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mackenzie Frost. Tragedy strikes the Baltimore City Fire Department after a firefighter was killed on the job yesterday. We've learned the 31-year-old had just been with the department for a year before his death. Right now, another firefighter is listed in critical condition. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell has the latest.
Investigators here at City Hall acknowledge there are still many unanswered questions, including how and where this fire started, as well as the department's response to it. One firefighter and a lieutenant remain hospitalized. That lieutenant, we're told, in critical condition, and officials identifying this firefighter killed in the line of duty as Rodney Pitts. Baltimore City EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts III, identified as the first responder killed in the line of duty after a two-alarm fire ripped through row homes in a northwest Baltimore neighborhood. Pitts, 31 years old, and a father.
EMT firefighter Rodney Pitts is and always will be a hero.
Investigators now revealing EMT firefighter Pitts was one of two firefighters who had to be rescued after the fire suddenly strengthened while the department was attempting to extinguish it.
We believe two were inside. The three that were subsequently burned were part of the rescue.
The firefighters injured, identified as Lieutenant Keith Brooks, firefighter Tavon Marshall, firefighter Seth Robbins, and Lieutenant Dylan Ronaldo. Robbins and Ronaldo remain hospitalized at the Bayview Hospital burn unit. Ronaldo critically injured and fighting for his life.
We met with his parents, his fiance, beautiful people, deeply hurt, much like our members are.
Exactly what went wrong and how still under investigation, as well as what caused the fire and exactly where it started.
We're reviewing 911 tape right now.
According to City Fire Chief James Wallace, firefighters responded to reports of a fire here on Linden Heights Avenue around 3:45 yesterday afternoon, and upon their arrival were met with heavy smoke and fire. Firefighters, he says, were focused on putting out the fire in the home that was occupied, and the fire suddenly strengthened.
This particular fire evolved so quickly.
The U.S. Fire Marshal, ATF, and Baltimore Police now assisting in this investigation. Police confirming they took one person into custody for questioning.
The police department did take somebody into custody. We did that based on some information that we had preliminarily received at the scene. That person was interviewed, and that person was released. So we do not currently have anybody in custody.
As this investigation into the fire and the department's response begins, the city now mourning the loss of EMT firefighter Pitts, who just joined the department in August, officially pinned by Chief Wallace.
Hearing and speaking with his mom and his family last night, he was so excited and so proud to be a firefighter in his town. He loved what he did. He was so proud, right, in hearing from their family.
So officials really just beginning to scratch the surface of this investigation. The Baltimore Police Department did add its homicide and arson units are taking part in this investigation. The city asking for prayers for the fallen firefighter and those who remain hospitalized. Reporting outside City Hall, Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Last year, 3 Baltimore City firefighters were also killed on the job. Lieutenants Kelsey Sadler, Paul Buttram, and Kenny Lakeo died while fighting a fire in a vacant home, and a 4th firefighter was injured. Former fire chief Two American hostages were held captive by Hamas have now been released. The mother and daughter from Chicago were released on humanitarian grounds. The rabbi of Judith and Natalie Rand speaking out just moments ago.
We have a tremendous amount of gratitude to the Almighty God for this incredible miracle, and we will celebrate with Judith and Natalie very soon. But we must all still continue to pray and to beseech and to do everything we can, spiritually and physically, to be able to bring all the rest of the hostages back home.
It's a miracle. We've been praying for her. We've been thinking about not only them, but all of the hostages. And the idea that they could potentially release more hostages in addition to Judith and Natalie is beyond exciting.
Right now, more than 200 hostages remain in Gaza as fighting continues. The UN says Palestinians who evacuated northern Gaza are heading back due to airstrikes and a shortage of aid in the south. More than 4,000 Palestinians have been killed and more than 1,400 people also killed in Israel.
We are dealing with our latest round of showers, and this is all as a cold front enters the region. Right now, we're seeing this rain all the way into southern Maryland, and over the next few hours, you may notice off and on showers. It could impact your drive if you're heading anywhere. If you're going anywhere, you will want the rain gear. As we take a larger look around the region, many areas dealing with rain and a few storms to our south. This will continue tonight, and we have the chance for more showers later this weekend. Coming up, I'll have a closer look at the timing of the rain and just how cool it gets behind the front in my Weather Authority forecast. Back to you.
All right, Jasmine, thanks. Here's a look at today's top trending stories. Number one, an intense manhunt continues to capture the suspect in a believed targeted murder of a Maryland state judge. Officials believe 49-year-old Pedro Agarte shot and killed Judge Andrew Wilkinson last night in Hagerstown. Earlier that day, Wilkinson had presided over a divorce hearing for Agarte, where he lost custody of his children. Investigators warning he's armed and dangerous.
The Washington County Sheriff's Office, along with local, state, and federal and allied partners, are actively working to apprehend Agarte. During this most difficult time, we ask that you keep Judge Wilkinson's family, friends, and colleagues in your thoughts.
Wilkinson was in his driveway when he was shot with his wife and son inside the home. He died at the hospital. Number two, the family of Timothy Reynolds, the Baltimore driver killed last year in an encounter with a group of squeegee kids, is speaking out tonight. It comes after Fox 45 News shared a song appearing to contain details of the murder. The song was initially shared by the mother of the 16-year-old awaiting sentencing in the murder. Timothy's widow, Shannon, says the lyrics are difficult to listen to.
I'll just say it was horrifying to hear the rap about my husband's murder, and everyone, all our friends and all our family are just absolutely sick to our stomach.
It's not clear if the teen in question was actually the one singing, but his mom is the one who posted it, telling people to check out her son. The teen's defense attorney, Warren Brown, telling Fox 45 News he cannot authenticate the song, but says he's not surprised with the content. The teen will be back in court Monday for sentencing. And number three, a rash of burglaries and carjackings overnight in Baltimore. Police say half a dozen addresses were targeted, from Canton to Federal Hill. In Fed Hill, Fox 45 News spoke with a resident who says they woke up to a woman's screams. That woman was walking her dog when she was attacked.
All of a sudden, I saw 6 or 7 youth run up, all in face masks and hoodies, and they punched her in the face, knocked her down and stole her phone, and she was screaming. They had been trolling the neighborhood looking for victims.
City Councilman Eric Costello saying police believe 5 or 6 juveniles were involved. A candidate drops out of the race for Maryland Senate. The reason why: Will Jawando is leaving the race.
The House is still without a speaker, and now Republicans aren't sure who they'll nominate. I'm Atrell Nashar in Capitol Hill with how Congressman Jim Jordan's bid for the job fell apart.
Changes ahead of next year's election. Today, Montgomery County Councilmember Will Jawando announcing he's dropping out of the U.S. Senate race in Maryland. Jawando, a Democrat, says he no longer believes he has a good chance to win.
The fights we talked about in this campaign are and always will be the fights of my life. But after thinking long and hard about this race in particular, I frankly no longer see a path for myself to victory.
Right now, Prince George's County Executive Angela Also Brooks and Congressman David Trone are considered the leading Democratic candidates to replace Senator Ben Cardin, who is retiring at the end of his third term. In Baltimore, another candidate has joined the race for City Council President. Former City Council member Shannon Sneed says she's the right person for the job. This will be the second time she's running for Council President. She finished second in the 2020 election.
See crime go down, it starts with education. We want to see folks have jobs and be qualified. It really starts with education. And so that's why I'm standing here today announcing that I'm going to be the next City Council President for Baltimore City.
Sneed previously served as the representative for the city's 13th district in City Hall. She also ran for lieutenant governor alongside Tom Perez last year. She pointed to poor failing test scores in Baltimore City as a serious concern and promises to support teachers and parents and to evaluate all options to address education failures in the city. She's now the third candidate for council president. She's facing incumbent Nick Mosby and current city councilman Zeke Cohen. Another race we're tracking in the city is the next mayor. Right now, Mayor Scott is being challenged by former Mayor Sheila Dixon and businessman Bob Wallace. Voters will narrow down these candidates during the May 14th primary election. And we invite you to join us next Tuesday, October 24th, for a town hall focused on public safety and criminal justice. It starts at 7 o'clock inside the Bilingual Christian Church of Baltimore. Mayoral candidate Sheila Dixon will join a panel of public safety experts to answer your questions about the crime fight in Baltimore. Fox 45 News has reached out to Mayor Brandon Scott, inviting him to participate several times, but he has not responded. If you cannot attend in person, you can watch on our website at foxbaltimore.com. Taking you live to Washington, D.C., where House Republicans are officially back to square one on choosing a new speaker. After 3 failed ballots, his colleagues agreed Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan should drop out. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar reports on how this happened.
Hey, good evening, Mackenzie. You know, every day that this speaker power vacuum continues, House Republicans grow more frustrated, not just because they can't come to a consensus yet on who the next speaker should be, but they're frustrated about the fact that they're in this position in the first place.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan began Friday seeming to compare his long-shot bid for the speakership to the Wright brothers' invention of the airplane.
44 years we go from 2 guys flying 100 feet to another American breaking the sound barrier in a jet.
Cardenas. But after the third vote on the House floor, it was clear his efforts would never take off.
A speaker has not been elected.
On a secret ballot Friday afternoon, a majority of House Republicans voted against keeping Jordan as their speaker nominee.
I told the conference it was an honor to be their speaker designee. We need to come together and figure out who our speaker is going to be.
With emotions running high, members broke for the weekend with plans to hold a candidate forum Monday night. Some Republicans doubt whether anyone in the party can get the 217 votes needed to be Speaker. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said this when asked if the Republican conference is broken.
We are in a very bad place right now, yes.
They hope to reach a consensus and hold another vote on the House floor Tuesday. Until there's a new speaker, the House cannot move legislation. With a long to-do list, they have no time to waste. The deadline to fund the federal government is November 17th, and the White House says its runway for aiding Israel and Ukraine is getting shorter by the day.
Now, House Republicans who want to run for Speaker have to file their candidacy, Mackenzie, by Sunday at noon. And we certainly expect, it's already proving true, that this candidate forum will look a lot different than the original candidate forum Republicans held on October 10th, when there were only 2 candidates, Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan. There's already a whole lot more.
Yeah, Audra, that's the question everyone wants to know. Who has thrown their name into this race so far?
Yeah, so we know Tom Emmer, the House Majority Whip, a congressman of Minnesota, is making calls. We're still waiting on sort of an official announcement from him. He seems to be the most logical next step for Speaker because he's House Majority Whip, and we know he's got the support of former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. But also on the list of folks who've thrown their hats in the ring officially, the following congressmen: Kevin Hern of Oklahoma, Byron Donalds of Florida, Austin Scott of Georgia, Pete Sessions of Texas, and someone you and I know well from our days covering politics in Michigan, Mackenzie, is Jack Bergman, who just yesterday actually said that he didn't want the job of Speaker. He'd be okay serving as temporary Speaker, but that he wasn't looking for it. Seems to have a change of heart in the last 24 hours.
Seems like a lot of things are changing by the minute.
Oh, yeah.
National correspondent Atra El-Nashar, thanks so much.
We are dealing with showers around the state as part of our latest weather maker, and this could have an impact on your plans this evening, but also for the weekend. Behind our weather maker, we're talking cooler temperatures. Notice on the HD radar, we are seeing showers extending all the way into southern Maryland. That's where we're seeing some areas of moderate, even heavy rain. And over the next few hours, those showers will continue to move across our state. Off and on, they could be light at times, heavy at other times, and this is all part of our latest weather maker. We've got a cold front to our south. Ahead of that cold front, we're seeing areas of storms. For us, we're mainly just talking rain, nothing severe, but we're also looking at rain multiple times this weekend. 61 for the current temperature and rainy over Baltimore. Winds are out of the southeast. Around the rest of the state, we're starting to see those numbers come down. Temperatures mainly in the 50s and the 60s, and that's all as the rain moves across the state. Overnight, lows will fall to the 40s and the 50s. We start off with cool temperatures. You may need the rain gear, but it looks like we also have rising temperatures into the afternoon. We're looking at the 50s and 60s. Notice on the future scan, we're keeping track of areas of rain this evening and even overnight. The chance for a few stray showers. The rain starts to taper in the morning, but you'll want the rain gear later. We have the chance for a few spotty showers. We're not looking at a washout. There's a better chance for showers overnight, and the rain continues into Sunday morning after sunrise. Still looking at some areas of rain, and there could be some moderate, even heavy rain at times. Sunday won't be a washout. By the afternoon, we return to dry weather. We'll have plenty of sunshine, but it will be a little bit breezy at times. Overnight temperatures will fall to 52 with rainy and cool conditions. Then tomorrow, our high temperatures will be below average. 65, we'll have mostly cloudy skies and the chance for a few stray showers, but again, not a washout. It could be breezy at times with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Temperatures, though, will be even lower, and it'll be breezy on Sunday. Coming up, we'll have a closer look at how low the temperatures will be for Sunday and when to expect warmer numbers in the exclusive 10-day forecast.
Preventing a tragedy or not effective? I'm Angela Brown in Washington, D.C. The controversial move by one state to prevent school shootings.
The debate over teachers having access to guns in schools is heating up after a controversial move by one state. The National Desk's Angela Brown explains.
Some school corporations in Indiana are setting up armed response teams that taxpayers are paying for. This from the policy manual for Randolph Central School Corporation in Indiana, setting up an armed response team, train staff on the use of deadly force, and allowing teachers to have access to guns locked up and biometric safes. Sergeant Betsy Smith, spokesperson for the National Police Association, says teachers are panic resistant.
So when you take an educator who wants to be armed and trained and you provide them with those tools, who better to be able to protect those children in some sort of active shooter situation or attack on a school?
We emailed the superintendent for Randolph Central. He referred us to a media statement where he called the armed response team necessary to secure lives. Fred Guttenberg lost his daughter in the Parkland shooting, telling MSNBC arming teachers is not the solution.
Since Columbine, there have been about 400 school shootings. That's a lot of school shootings. However, it's 0.3% of the total number of schools. And so the idea of arming teachers to solve that is simply, it is fulfilling the goal of a gun lobby that still wants to sell more guns.
A 2023 RAND Corporation survey found that 54% of teachers believe teachers carrying guns would make schools less safe. 20% say safer, 26% neither more nor less safe. In Washington, D.C.,